When I was young, my wettest dream was to catch someone in the opening and win without thinking. Just winning from home. That was really the object. And it never happened very often. But in this game from 1999, where I was not that young anymore, it did happen in the Sicilian Dragon. And it's a funny story. So get ready for it. At that year, the book Nunn's Nunn's Chess Openings, had just gotten published, and they claimed that all the lines were computer checked, and they gave the line that Luke McShane is playing against me in the Politiken Cup in 1999. But unfortunately for him, they had not computer checked this line. They had not computer checked all the lines, and they were basically, actually it was a kind of a scandal. They had a very. I just talked to Nunn, who was in the Bundesliga, about this, and he said that, well, one of the guys had said he had checked it, but he didn't check it, and so on. So it goes to show that in the openings theory, trust but verify. In the old days, there was something called informant. And our old friend Ivanchuk, whenever he gave a line, there was also always a big hole in it. So if you played this against him, you would lose. You would simply lose against him if you followed his own recommendation. So trust but verify. And you, in general, you have to check it yourself. Also, some lines are computer lines, and when you reach the position, you realize they're completely unplayable. It's not possible for humans to play these positions in any meaningful way. And also, if you go a little bit deeper with the computer programs, it starts to show a big advantage for white, for instance. This is one of the things that were in the modern Benoni book by John Watson, where it makes a compelling case for black's position. And then when you go over the line and you try and play them in blitz, and you realize that it leads to, well, position that just doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's get on with it. I played the Dragon until I was in the early 30s, and I played it a little bit since. It is kind of a junior opening. It's very good for learning a lot about dynamic play, tactics, exchange sacrifices, opposite castling, and so on. So I would recommend all young players to try it out a few times, learn a little theory, look at it. It's very fascinating, interesting chess, but it's also a little bit forcing and a little bit, well, sort of crude in a sense. This line, bishop c4, I have also played this. I remember that William Watson played this against me, and he told me that this is what the Dragon players, he was a Dragon player that plays against each other, because it leads to a slight plus for white, and you don't have to give away any kind of secrets in the long castle variation, like the Yugoslav attack, which kind of, by the way, should be renamed since Yugoslavia no longer exists. Okay, and this was all in the NCO h3. White's idea is basically to not spend a move on this move, and normally when white is leaving this knight here undefended, black can play this move, but here white can just take with the rook, and it's much better for white, of course. So it doesn't work at all. So bishop d7 is all theory. Bishop d5, and here bishop d5 is maybe not the best move, but it's not bad, but it's not maybe not the best move. Bishop b3 is what I would play to avoid the following things, but it was all in the NCO. So Luke, who trusted people, thought, okay, and this was also, and this is definitely a mistake, because after this move, white is already having some trouble. Of course, the queen is under attack, and after this move, here they claim that white had a slight edge. This was where the variation ended for. Oh, well, it ended with knight takes c4 and queen takes e4, and white will put the queen on b3 and play knight d5 and probably have a slight edge, which is probably true. It's not a big edge. Black has no real weaknesses. He has the bishop pair, but white has more space, and black's counterplay is not obvious. But unfortunately for white, black has a resource here that the computer gives rather fast actually, and that is, wait for it, you ready? Boom! And I discovered this as in my preparation. I was having the NCO and was preparing for white, and when I was going through all the lines, and which is something I should definitely do more, but I have not done that much since. And this move instantly came up from the computer, and after this move, we see that black has a double attack on c4 and h3, and unless the bishop moves, white will just take it, and if it does move, we can take here, and we have this very, very, very annoying check. That's very hard to parry. There's only one move that makes any kind of sense here. If you don't, and that's f4 and check here. I could give the take the exchange immediately, but this is also very good. He's in big trouble here, so this move is definitely threatened. And check, king d1, check, and we get the sort of this ending here, and this is well, this is winning for black. Yeah, just took away two nice pawns. He will get one of them back, but it's not enough. He played bishop d5 and e6, and I just need to get my knight out before rook ad1 is coming, and it's coming anyway. Take, and here the easiest thing is to just get into a rook ending without having a dominating knight on d5. Can be a bit of a problem, so there's no reason to allow it. Just do this and then bang on the weaknesses, because white structure here in the Sicilian, when it's destroyed like this, a lot of the time all the pawns will fall. All the pawns will fall when it's like this. So and black still has a nice trump on the king side, where he has 2 pawns more. And actually it's rather easily winning, but I did take some time to do it. Check, and I could take that, but I didn't want to allow any kind of counterplay, so I just said, okay, let's stay active. And this is in general my advice to everybody. He was threatening to play f5. It does come here, but I'm keeping control. And as I said earlier, good technique is control. Good technique is control. So keep control when you're winning. Black is 2 pawns up. Don't allow any unnecessary counterplay. Just sort of take him slowly towards his grave without having any kind of drama. You don't want drama when you're 2 pawns up. You just want it to be very, very quiet and easy. And here, okay, we control this. He's not going to get an attack anytime soon against my king, which is the only idea he's got, of course, and then getting rid of all the pawns, improving the king's position. And maybe he's take, but he's allowing the king to get checked. And here I'm allowed to have 2 passed pawn, so I'm letting that pawn live, but of course it doesn't help him. He has to guard against the check, and there's another way to go. And of course the pawns are rolling. There's no real serious threat here. He thought maybe that he could get his rook down here, but I give a check, and I give a check on the d file, and we exchange the rooks, and it's of course totally lost then. So he has to keep the rooks going, but it's not so easy. And I have time for this, and I was enjoying myself here. Check and rook here, and he's coming for something. Doesn't help anything. Check, and he gave up. Either he's made it, or I will give a check on c5 and exchange his rook and winning all the pawns. This by the way is a typical mate. So if we go back, we see that this nice little tactical resource is really destroying white's idea. And we can see that already bishop d2 is a mistake. It has to go to g3, but probably already bishop d5 is slightly wrong. It would be in this position. I would definitely play bishop b3 and just say okay, and that's okay. Then he should probably take and play bishop c6, threatening to take on e4, and the queen have to go. But he can go to d3 and h4, and we have a normal position. I think this position has been regarded as better for black, but it's definitely not clear that they are better for black. And I think with reverse color, white has started to play this kind of positions again. So this I think Karana did that in a game against Carlsen or something. Yeah, I think so, in the World Championship match. Anyway, so this kind of preparation is fun. Does it happen often? Well, it happens more often than you think, that there are some serious flaws. And in general, if something looks weird in an opening, you should check it. You should not just trust people. In general, don't trust people when it comes to opening theory. For instance, like, a lot of, especially in the old times, I remember especially Vanchuk had a lot of false lines, but I think many people gave a variation that was just wrong, and they knew it. They didn't care. They got paid for putting their names on the annotations, not for bringing quality. Nowadays, of course, everybody's got a strong engine at their hands. You can have one in your smartphone. It doesn't cost anything, and and it will analyze pretty well, and it will definitely discover this move in this position. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting. It was a funny story. It kind of refuted the NCO's claim that it was all computer checked, because it must have been a very bad computer. This was GM Talks. Thank you for watching.